Well, that was an unexpected surprise. I hit the button to start recording the video and then somebody sent me a link to this. So, naturally, I had to put it on order. So expect a demo for that one coming soon. But anyways, yeah. What's up guys, Kyle here again, and today it's time for me to review some of your guys' comments. Real quick, before we get started, I just wanted to give a huge thank you to you guys. Why? Because we hit 10,000 subscribers on my channel yesterday. Honestly, I literally can't believe that we are at 10,000 subscribers already. I didn't think that my channel would ever get to 10,000 subscribers when I started this thing off. I really just kind of started it off in order to start sharing and documenting some of the amps that I have that people were always asking me questions about, and use it as kind of like an archive or a reference point. And even though it essentially still is that, it's also become my full-time thing now, and I really love every step of it. I love getting to interact with you guys. I love hearing your comments and what you think of these amps and listening to your suggestions. And I love that I get to play guitar on a daily basis, and that's what I do. So yeah, what a life-changing process in such a short amount of time. So I just, again, wanted to say thanks so much to you guys, to all the subscribers out there, to everybody who views the videos day after day, to those who share them, to those who hit the like button, and to those who leave the comments down below in the description. As I like to say, thank you guys so much. Like literally, this would be obviously nothing without you, and having a lot of fun. So thanks again. So with those 2 points out of the way, we're starting on high notes here. Let's jump into your guys' comments. First comment comes from my man Trey at Gear Gods, and he says, "Good Lord, I became a YouTuber so I'd never have to see what 6 a.m. looks like. What are you doing, son?" Trey left this comment in regards to my day in the life video that I posted this week. I mentioned that I usually get up at 5:45 or 6 o'clock in the morning to start editing my videos. And obviously I'm doing it wrong because yeah, I could make my own schedule and wake up at like 8 or 9 a.m. But the reason that I wake up early in the morning, obviously Trey's just joking, but of course I'm gonna go ahead and be serious about it because I'm an idiot. The reason that I wake up at 5:45 or 6 a.m. to start editing my videos is because my girlfriend goes to work around 7:30. So I try to have my video done for the day around the time that she's leaving or shortly afterwards, because she's only gone for about 7 hours a day at her job, and that leaves me a limited window to make loud noises with guitars and drums. So I try to maximize that time that I can basically be loud in the house without disturbing or driving her nuts. And also when she gets home, we usually go to the gym and then we make dinner and everything else. So I really don't have time at night to do any of the YouTube stuff. So I try to maximize my time during the day and in the early morning in order to get everything done the way that I need to. I kind of set this system up when I was still working an 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. job. I would wake up at 5 in the morning to edit my videos and get them done and rendered, and that way I could upload them before I left for work at 7:45 in the morning. And really, once I started doing this full time, I wanted to kind of keep on that same schedule, you know. I wanted to be up early in the morning and be productive early, because I've always felt that if I sleep in too long, if I get a late start in the day, that it just kind of throws me off. So I like getting an early start in the morning. I am not a morning person. It is really hard for me to get out of bed, especially to go do video editing, which is probably my least favorite portion of the whole YouTube thing. But I still peel myself out of bed and start getting to it early in the morning so that I feel productive right off the bat, and I can move on to the fun stuff, get the crappy stuff out of the way first, and then I get to make loud noises and have a good time. So that is why I get up early, so there's more time for riffies. Next comment comes from Scott Ketch, and he says, "I know you're trying to be thorough, but my dad's not watching this. Loose the crunch demos." Pretty sure he meant lose. Smart. "They just waste time. No one cares about Vietnam songs." You know, I read this and have to laugh because usually I get comments on the other side of the spectrum where, you know, older guys are coming in, seeing my channel, watching these amps and complaining that I'm not playing more classic rock tones, or that I'm not playing leads, or as some guys like to say, that I'm not playing below the third string. So it kind of was actually refreshing to get criticism coming from the other direction, where it's basically like the anti-boomer being very boomery, coming in and telling me what I should do with my channel. But yeah, I don't know, I just found that entertaining. So yeah, thanks for that comment, and thanks for spelling lose wrong, because it made me laugh, and that's why your comment is here mainly. My Dryasis says, "There's no way he's married. If he is, she must be so cool." You know, I am not married as of yet, but I have been with my girlfriend now for about 6 years. We have lived together for the past 3 years. Yes, 3 years. And you know what? She takes this whole gear hoarding thing very well. Actually, surprisingly well for the amount of stuff that I have. As I have showed you guys, it kind of takes over certain areas of the house, like this finished portion in the basement that I do my videos in. Definitely was not intended for a YouTube studio or for, you know, walls of amps to be stored here. We actually set this up as like a second living room, but we never used it. So, you know, naturally I took it over and filled it with gear. But yeah, she is very cool about the whole thing. She's cool about the YouTube channel. She's actually very supportive of it. She knows that I love it. She knows that the bills are paid and that I'm responsible with money at the end of the day, so she doesn't worry about any of that either. So in reality, yeah, she is very cool. She is very tolerant of my gear hoarding. She doesn't seem to mind that there are UPS boxes on the porch every single day when she gets home. So I'm definitely lucky because most guys are always commenting, telling me that they're gonna use my channel as an example to their wives of how their 3 amps are not too many. So the fact that I have 50 amps and my girlfriend doesn't complain too often anyways is definitely something that I'm lucky about, and I appreciate it for that. Joel Grind says, "Better Off Without You" by Terror. Joel is the man behind Toxic Holocaust, so if you haven't checked out Toxic Holocaust, they f***ing rip, and you definitely should. And he is commenting on my little short that I actually posted a couple days ago of me playing drums where I said, name that hardcore song. I'm thinking about doing more shorts in the future here just for fun because they don't really take away from my main content, and it allows me to post stuff that I wouldn't normally post, like short gear videos. Or in this instance, a little bit of a drum video, which I really like drums, guys. I love playing drums. And I would love to do more content with drums, but I also don't want to take away from the guitar stuff. So maybe I'll just post some more shorts over the next couple of weeks and see how you guys take to those. But let me know in the comments, do you guys want to see anything drum related? I imagine not, but that's why I'm here asking you. I am just fine doing the guitar stuff. But at the same time, it would be cool to work in drum gear, bass gear, a little bit of everything, even recording stuff, because I am going to be recording my own 4-song hardcore EP where I do bass, drums, guitars, vocals. And really, I want to record that process, the process of me recording all of that stuff, and make it into a video, like a vlog type video for you guys to follow along with. So if you guys are interested in that, let me know. Would love to hear your thoughts and comments on that down in the description. Jack Florio says, I would be super interested in financial focused video as it pertains to gear buying. That is something that is relatable to everyone interested in high-end metal amplifiers. Please put that video out. You know, your guys' response to my idea of putting together like a financial advice video when it comes to purchasing gear and how to maximize your dollar when it comes to purchasing gear, the response to that has just been absolutely insane. Like, I posted that video over a week ago and I still get comments on it daily with people asking me to post that. So I actually recorded this already, but because there is so much interest in it, I'm gonna go back and I'm going to do it better. I'm gonna re-record it. I am going to, for the first time ever, put some bullet points down and some talking points and everything so it is a well-constructed video. That way you get the most out of it that you possibly can, just with the amount of interest that comment that I made has generated, and how my FAQ last week about my, you know, financial story has generated a lot of interest, and you guys are really interested in that. I will absolutely go back, redo that, make sure that it's done as good as I can do it. That way it's as helpful as it can be to you guys out there, and I will put that out within the next couple of weeks. So thank you guys so much for your interest in that, and yeah, I read the comments and I take what you guys very seriously, and it definitely helps me know what kind of content to put out for you. So I appreciate you guys giving me the support and the interest on that video. I'll have it out in the next couple of weeks. Crustum says, I like it more now when Matt Damon is demoing amps on YouTube than making shitty movies. Subscribed. It's actually Thrash Damon, bro. Get it right. But also, thank you for your subscription. For the final comment today, BSK Bishop says, this is a cool trick to take any amp and capture the full sound of it, including the power amp, then run it into a very clean power amp. This allows you to make loud amps quiet or quiet amps loud while capturing the full sound of the original amp. Kind of a poor man's Fryette power station. Thanks for your comment, man, and I'm glad that you found the video helpful. The video that he is referencing is my video on the 2-notes captor, using that as a tool in order to be able to slave any amp into any power section. Now, I am literally like when I say I'm a tone tweaker, like I I 100% mean that. I am always trying like weird concoctions of different things and seeing how they work out. And that is literally how that video of the 2 notes captor with the LBX and the Mesa 300 watt power amp was born. I don't know how or why it popped into my head. I think it did because I was like, wow, the Tiny Terror sounds really, really good. It's too bad that you couldn't slave this into a bigger power section if you were somebody who was on a budget and you just so happened to have like a cheap 100 watt tube amp, but you also had a Tiny Terror but wanted the Tiny Terror to be loud enough to be able to play live or whatever, you know what I mean? So that really got me to thinking, like, how could I possibly use this Tiny Terror how could I get it into a bigger power section amp if somebody in fact wanted to do that? They wanted to take a small amp, take the preamp section of it, or in the case of the Tiny Terror, the preamp and the power amp section, and essentially amplify it through another amplifier or through maybe say something like a Seymour Duncan Power Stage 200. How would that be possible without an effects loop and without killing the amp because you need a load on it? And as soon as I thought, well, I need a load on it, I was like, duh, 2 notes captor. The 2 notes captor has a reactive load, it has a DI out, and it has a line out. So you can use it to send the signal from the Tiny Terror into another amp while also having a reactive load on the Tiny Terror. So yeah, my mind runs in circles literally all day long, but sometimes it gets to a point where things just kind of connect and there's a light bulb and all of a sudden I have kind of a cool idea, and that is how that video was born. So I am always thinking of new ways to try and hook my stuff up that is, you know, maybe a little bit unorthodox. I've definitely tried some goofy things in the past. I definitely experimented with saying the word definitely way too many times, and guess what? It didn't work out that well. I experimented with slaving amps a lot when I first got into owning multiple amp heads. The first time I ever slaved one amp into another, I had a PV6505 and I had a PV Windsor. And I hated the PV Windsor. I thought it sounded terrible. No offense to any Windsor owners out there, but I definitely did not like it, especially in comparison with the 6505. But reading on the forums a lot back in that time, this was 2012 that I did this. A lot of people were saying how they had modified their 5150s or 6505s to have EL34 power tubes and they liked the sound of it. And I'm like, well, my Windsor has EL34 power tubes, so how could I run the preamp of the 5150 into the Windsor power section to get it to utilize that more British flavored power section in the Windsor? So I started digging around, and guess what? The 5150 has a preamp out in it. So I ran that preamp out into the effects return of the Windsor, and boom, I had my 5150 with an EL34 power section. This created a little bit of a problem though, because the Windsor does not have a global master volume and the 5150 doesn't have a dedicated channel volume. So when I would turn the volume up on the 5150, it would turn the volume up on the Windsor, and there was no way to adjust the volume on the Windsor by itself. So therefore, I'm like, all right, well, I need something in between that's gonna give me the ability to adjust the volume. So I bought an MXR 6-band EQ that has a level on it. I put that in between the preamp of the 5150 and the effects return of the Windsor, and I could now not only use that 6-band EQ to adjust the level that of the signal that is going into the Windsor and the overall volume, but now I had additional EQ controls on how I wanted it to sound going into the Windsor. So I actually ended up using that as a live rig for a couple of shows, and I got a lot of people asking me questions afterwards because they're like, dude, I've never heard a PV Windsor sound like that. Like, what are you doing? And then I showed them what I was doing, and they were like, that is really smart. Like, I've never seen anybody do that before. But in fact, it really isn't anything crazy, because back in the 80s and the early 90s, people were slaving amps all the time. It was a very common thing. But it just seemed to be something that fell off as far as I was aware, because I didn't really hear of anybody slaving amps in the hardcore community when I was talking to people about gear. So I kind of discovered it a little bit on my own, and then came to find out that it was something that was commonly done in the past. But anyways, that's a roundabout way to say that I kind of figured that out on my own without realizing that it was a thing. And that's just how my brain works. I'm always trying to find unorthodox ways to make two different things work. I really like the idea of having a really good sounding amp like a 5150, and then a budget amp like, say, a Windsor or a Valve King or a Jet City amp, and slaving the preamp of the 5150 into a different power section with an MXR 6-band EQ, because that will give you a slightly different flavor from the power section of the other amp, and it'll allow you to adjust the EQ in a certain way that you can flavor it pretty differently from what's coming out of just the 5150 head itself. But I'm into crazy ideas, and as soon as I figure out something else cool, I'll be sure to make a video on it and share it with you guys so that you guys can put it into your own, you know, real life experimentation and play around with it. If you guys want to see a video of how I did that with the 5150, slaving it into an amp with an EL34 power section, I would be happy to do something like that here in the near future. But yeah, I'm just always experimenting with tone. Instead of sitting down and practicing guitar like I desperately need to, I am hooking up different amps and different cabs to different speakers with different boosts and different pickups and slaving into different power sections, all just to find cool, unique tones that are fun to play around with, because that's just the type of person that I am. And you know what? I wouldn't have it any other way, because that's what I enjoy doing, and it really comes down to, what do you enjoy doing? Do you enjoy playing guitar? Do you enjoy practicing? Do you enjoy messing around with tones? Do you enjoy swapping pickups? Do you enjoy trying different power tubes? Do you enjoy trying different speakers? Whatever makes you happy, whatever you get the most fulfillment out of in this whole guitar playing, guitar gear space, that's all that matters, man. Don't let anybody tell you that you need to be a better player to own more expensive amps or guitars. Don't let anybody tell you that you're a phenomenal guitar player but your gear sucks. It all comes down to what makes you happy in the end. So that is where I am going to end that comment in this episode. We'll end it on a high note. Do what makes you happy and don't listen to anybody else, because that's really what it's all about. We are all here to have fun, whether we are trying to be an amazing guitar player or whether we are trying to find the ideal tone in our heads. The chase of all of that is fun, and don't let anybody tell you how to go about it. As long as you're enjoying yourself, that's all that matters. So anyways, keep leaving those comments and I will keep responding to you guys. I really enjoy doing these episodes. If you have any thoughts on anything that I said in this video, put it down in the comment section below. If you would like to support what I do here, down in the description of this video are all my support links, including my Sweetwater affiliate link. Click that link, get yourself something nice from the fine folks at Sweetwater. I get a little kickback, it costs you nothing, and it greatly helps my channel move forward. You can also consider becoming a member of the Belligerent Nation by joining my Facebook group and my Discord server. I was trying so hard to get that out before I burped. Join my Facebook group and my Discord server where we talk about gear all day long, down below in the description. I'd be happy to have you guys. Thanks so much for watching. Kyle here again. We'll see you next time.